What is up, Rad Potential YouTube, and welcome to today's Weber tuning video, and hopefully the last one. Because we've basically gone through all the circuits of this Weber carb so far, and we're still fighting the same issue. So, gotta hit the secondary light switch in here. So, what are we changing? Basically, I'm fighting a lean spot on transition into the main jets, and basically, whenever I'm hitting the throttle, like changing from a quarter throttle to half throttle, it goes to like 16, 17 lean, and then it catches right back up. Plenty of fuel to wide open throttle. Still running like 12.5-ish, right? Which is really good for a rotary. That's a little on the, we'll say, like leaner side if you're into tuning boosted cars, but for all motor in a beast, that's good. However, the reason that quarter throttle to half throttle spot is important is because imagine you're going on the interstate and you need to pull up a hill, right? And you're holding the quarter throttle and it's just like rotary, you know, got no power. Not like my Z06 Corvette. The Z06 is just like bah, right up the hill, keeps the same speed. The rotary car is like bah. Then you got to downshift fourth because they don't make any power. So this car, right there where you're trying to lay into the throttle more to get you up the hill, it goes lean, and then it basically it stalls, it bogs out. So, we are going to change today. As you can see, I've been ordering lots of Weber parts. Pegasus Racing Supply, carburetorparts.net, they've been loving me lately. And so is USPS Postal Service, because I've been paying almost as much for these damn things as it costs to ship them here. But what are we changing today? So, I have what I believe is a 160 air bleed in this unit. So I'm going to set you guys down here. It's right here. So this is your jet stack, emulsion tube, main jet. I've got F7 emulsions now instead of F11s, which are right here. My last video explains the differences and what these do. So go back and look at that if you just follow the playlist. Basically, I'm going to pop this jet holder off the top of this emulsion tube, if I can get it. Let's try the other one. There we go. So in the top of the emulsion tube, you have right up here this discolored piece of metal. It's called an air bleed. And what an air bleed does is it restricts the airflow that can enter the emulsion circuit. So how this works is it's a little bit different than you would think. You would think, okay, air comes in the top, it goes in, squirts out the bottom. Well, no. The fuel comes up from the bottom, and the air comes down from the top, it comes out the center, and goes into the carburetor. So it's a little bit different than you would think. But by changing this air bleed to a smaller one, I'm hoping to richen up the entirety of the circuit. So what I can't do, really, is control any specific RPM like a computer. You can change the cells at, like, we'll say 40% load to have more fuel than at 20% load. Well, in this carb, I can sort of issue that, but I can't. I'm kind of stuck with this, I'm stuck with this flat curve of fuel that's going to be a little bit richer in spots and a little bit leaner in spots, but as I go through the RPM range, it should work. And the emulsion tube helps to kind of, we'll say, give that some progression, but I'm just struggling to make that work right now. So we're switching from a 160 to a 130 air bleed. I ordered a set of 115s, and they only had one of them, so I'm waiting in the mail for another 115. Otherwise, we'd do 115s in this video too. But I'm hoping that the 130s fix it. And like I said in the previous video, this series might be long. However, in each video, we're changing one thing at a time and explaining the effects of it, so you guys should be able to understand what you need to do to tune your carburetor. So I'm going to pop all these apart, we'll slap them in the car, cold start that baby up, check the wideband, go for a rip, should be fun. Idle jet holder, or main jet holder's off. Just let the air bleed out. Bang! Put the 160s over here, we got the 130s over here, we're going to pop the 130 in. Just like that. You can noticeably tell the hole size difference right there. 160 on the left, 130 on the right. You can see much smaller. And maybe we don't need to go that much smaller, but if this richens it up so much that it bogs, well, then I know my range and I'll start dialing it in. But I wasn't about to order a 155 and not see enough of a change, so we're going to the end of the spectrum. These, you just pop the jet holders back on the top. Bang, bang, boom. That one fits a little tight. Bang, but dang. Get these put back together. We're going to go out here. Literally all it takes is a flat blade screwdriver. You can pop these babies out and you are ready to rock. Cold start, Weber, full bridge. How about that? Man, this thing sounds so good. So good. And for those asking about muffler setup, if you can even hear me, this is a header, 2.5-inch pipe all the way under the car to a 5-inch Amazon special glass pack. So it's a 5-inch can with a 2.5-inch pipe in the middle of it, and that's it. And a little turn down tip, because this thing's loud. Still doing it. We do need to let it warm up though. Ooh, man! I just love the way this thing sounds. Oh yeah. If you have an aftermarket steering wheel and your horn doesn't work, you need to upgrade your game. We bad. This is the look of defeat on changing the air bleeds, because it made me a lot richer up top, which is what it's supposed to do. And by a lot, I mean like I was at 12.5, now I'm at 10.5 on the AFR gauge. So, see. So cruising, cruising, cruising. Pulls back down into the 11s just for that pull, but once you get higher in the RPM it goes down to like 10.5. So I want to keep my 160 air bleeds because I don't think that's the problem. I think we're still fighting another issue here and I got to figure out what it is. So my guess now, kind of looking towards that, is that I think I need to run to a smaller choke, because basically what's happening is as I'm rolling into the throttle, it's just sucking way too much air and it can't keep up. You know, like I explained in the last video, for that like 1 instant. But because you can just see it like right there. I mean, it's just no fun. But the thing rips though. It still rips. Full tilt kill. She hauls the mail. So yeah, I don't know. I may upload this one just because I gotta order choke tubes, and that's gonna take a while. I figured I ought to just show you what I tried and what it didn't help, but what it did change. So the emulsion tubes, the air bleeds 100% had a gnarly effect on my top end fuel flow. So if you need to richen up the top end, go to a smaller air bleed. But this like tip in part where I'm trying to tune out, it's still just not doing it. So we'll have to play with it some more. Alright guys, so we changed the air bleeds. We got a lot more fuel on the top end now, but we're still struggling with my little lean spot in the mid-range tip in. So I'm going to go ahead and slide the choke tubes out of this. I'll show you how, well, I'll slide them out. I'm going to see what size they are. I'm going to order some 40mm choke tubes from Pegasus, and then we're going to plug them in there, see what happens. And then we might end up having to turn them down on or turn them out to make them bigger on a lathe. So we'll see what comes of that. But oh, excuse me. But with that, thanks for tuning in. Apologize this video wasn't as crazy awesome and fixed it and did a bunch of donuts and stuff, but we're getting there. We're figuring this out. Remember, tell me below if you think you would have rather had fuel injection or be playing with the carburetor like what I'm doing. Thanks for watching. Keep it rad.